Welcome once again to Isifeedublog. Before we jump into the topic of today, my name is Mr. Henry. I'll be taking you on this particular topic. Now, please, before we go further to this, always try to go through your past questions. We have our past questions section, the JAMB past questions section with TME, and the exercises section. You can also follow the link below and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Always remember to click on the notification bell. If you have any question, drop it in your comment section, and always remember, share to your friends. Okay, let's quickly go over to what we have for today. This is projectile motion. Pay attention to this particular topic. It is not something that is normally easy to understand. We are going to take our time to explain everything concerning this particular topic, and you'll be glad to be in this channel. Now, these are our lessons objectives. We're going to know what a projectile is and what a projectile motion is. We're going to know the examples of projectile motion, some few examples. Now, types of projectile motion. Some of us don't even know we have types of projectile motion. So that's a problem. When question comes, you try to solve it in a particular way without knowing you are going through it in the wrong way. Now, we have some questions on projectile motion. Many questions we are going to solve. You can now visit this, where we solve our past questions. Any challenging question you don't know how to solve in your past questions will be tackled here. So let's quickly jump into the first objective. Okay, here we have the definition of what a projectile is. Now, the definition says a projectile is an object. An object. Some tests we call it a body. So a projectile is an object, or you can call it a body launched in the air and is allowed to move freely under gravity. Under gravity. So everything concerning this topic, gravity has effect on it. Because that is what a projectile is. Anything you project upwards, acted against or for gravity, you call that a projectile motion. Now, what's a projectile motion? A projectile motion is simply the way in which a projectile moves. That one has no issue, just the way it moves in air. While the projectile itself is the object thrown. So we are going to enter examples of what a projectile is, the real life examples. So I'm going to put it down now and note them for exam's sake. On the board here are some of the examples of what a projectile is. So we have examples of projectiles. Number one, a stone shot out of a catapult. Please, for those writing WAEC, be very careful, please. Don't say a stone. A stone is not, anything can be a projectile, but you have to make it a motion. That's why some textbooks call it, instead of calling it examples of projectiles, some call it examples of projectile motion. I think that is better. Because if you say a stone is just an object, it's not a projectile, except it is launched in the air. And the only thing that can launch that is by someone's hands or a catapult. So you can say a stone shot out of a catapult. This is a projectile motion, and we can call it a projectile. A thrown javelin. You don't say a javelin. That is wrong. A thrown javelin. Make sure it is in motion. We are discussing motion here. The next one we say a thrown disc. A thrown disc. So you can make any object a projectile. There is no specific thing that is a projectile. What matters is how you throw it or how the thing is being projected. That is what matters. Therefore, this marker I am using to teach can be a projectile. Because once I throw it up now and it's moving freely before falling down, it's moving under gravity, this marker becomes a projectile. So you may not necessarily use this, it's just that for exam's sake, these ones are the ones they normally ask you. Now, number 4, we have a bullet shot out of a gun. Not a bullet. No, a bullet is not a projectile, but a bullet shot out of a gun. We have so many examples. You can formulate yours. So many examples of projectiles or projectile motion. Now, another important thing I would like to stress here is the path of a projectile. That's another thing they normally ask you. The path of a projectile. So the path of a projectile is called a trajectory. The path of a projectile is called a trajectory. Please note that the path of a projectile is called trajectory. Be very careful. For exam's sake, especially those in JAMB, the path of a projectile, the way a projectile follows, is called a trajectory. Another thing they can ask you is, what is the shape of this path? What is the shape of a trajectory? What is the shape of a trajectory? Now, the shape of a trajectory, which is the path of a projectile, is parabola. Parabola. Or you simply say parabolic shape. You can say parabolic shape. These are little things you need to know for your exam's sake. The shape of a trajectory is parabolic shape, or you simply say a parabola. A parabola is the shape of a quadratic graph. For instance, this is a parabola. This is a parabola. So the shape of a quadratic graph is an example of what you call a parabola. Now we are going to go into the terms you need to know under this particular topic, the terminologies you use under projectile motion.